Hello again, Italy. It's been 4 years since I visited you, but this is the first time that I've truly experienced what it is like to live in your borders and with the people that I would soon call my family. I arrived a week early to stay with my cousins and began to be really comfortable. As I boarded the bus leaving from Viareggio to Siena, I left behind my life of comfort to start my new life of adventure. I quickly figured out that in order to get from one place to another, you need to be willing to put yourself out there and talk with others. When I finally arrived in Siena, I met with my advisor of the Siena Italian Studies program. He spoke to me about what the next few days were going to look like and when we would meet my other classmates. We took the van to meet up with my other classmates that would be on the 6 or 4 week program with me. When the others arrived, the host families slowly started arriving one by one. We were then paired into our roommates and host families and taken back to their homes. Our host families were only allowed to speak to us in Italian. I remember my little room with 2 twin beds and a door that led to their outside garden. I remember coming home each night to a typical Italian meal and discussing normal things that happened in my day. Over the next few days, my program took us to see Pisa and Florence. We visited the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Uffizi, and a few other locations as well. During this time, the World Cup was happening, and Italy's first game was when we were in Pisa. A group of us went to the big clock tower piazza and watched the game on a huge screen. It was incredible being around that kind of energy. I think the only time I've ever seen something like this was in America, is when the Super Bowl or maybe even when the 4th of July is going on. But even the energy of these two events does not compare to when my program took us to see the Palio. Siena is composed of 17 neighborhoods or contrade. I was a part of the Pantera or Panther district, meaning that I was able to attend certain events that my contrada put on. The Palio is an event that has been around for at least 1,000 years, and the tradition holds to this very day. The Palio, in simplest terms, is a horse race, where jockeys not from Siena ride horses around the Piazza del Campo 3 times. The contrada that wins gets the Palio or the prize, which is usually a painting consisting of 3 main things: a representation of the 10 contradas racing, the horses, and the Madonna. The night before the big race, each racing contrada holds a dinner, or la cena. Then the morning of the race, there is a blessing of the horse and the jockey, because this race is very dangerous. There are no saddles and only a leather helmet worn by the jockeys. Then around 5:30 p.m., I remember everyone crowding down one street in Siena, walking slowly towards the center of the piazza. There was a parade of the Palio, and each contrada. I remember seeing the flag routine of each contrada and remembering all of the thousands of people from all over to see who might win the race this time. Towards the end of my trip, all I could think about was my many friends that I had made and how I was going to miss my host family. At some point during my stay, I stopped making comparisons and started acting like I lived in the city. I was able to overcome my challenges of transportation and communication within the first few weeks of staying. I wondered when I started considering myself a member of the city instead of a tourist only staying here for a few weeks. Could it have been when I visited the children at the summer camp and played games in English with them? Or maybe when I went to the weekly market to buy myself either a new dress or some cherries? I remember walking home after meeting up with my friends in the city center and waiting in anticipation for what the next day had in store for me. Who was I going to meet? What kind of food would my host make for me? Would I be able to walk to the new area of the city today? All these became important events to me as the days passed on. On weekends, I traveled all around Italy and spoke to many different people and ate many new foods. There are so many things that I am thankful for because of this trip. Memories that will last a lifetime and friends and family that I will cherish for the rest of my life.